Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Roll call for Mrs. Pat. Is absent. Approval of the agenda.
I'll make that motion.
All in favor say aye.
Aye.
All opposed? Approval of meeting minutes from the previous meeting.
I'll go in and make that motion to approve them.
Support.
All in favor say aye.
Aye.
All opposed? Local government. I don't think I've seen anybody come in. Public comment. Heather?
Good evening. Before we begin the public comment section of today's board meeting, I'm going to review the ground rules that Corey will use as chairman of the meeting. We know that everyone has their opinions regarding township business and everyone will have a chance to express their opinions. We ask that you please respect each other and that everyone follows the ground rules. Any person wishing to address the board should wait until Corey acknowledges them, and then they may state his or her name and address for the record. No person shall be recognized to speak more than once on the same matter. Each person who wishes to speak will have 3 minutes, excluding time needed to answer commissioners' questions, if any. Each speaker will be timed and will be advised when their time is up. You cannot give your minutes to another speaker. Public comment will not be concluded until each and every member of the public requesting to make public comment has a full and fair opportunity to do so. Please be civil to board members, the board chair, the township professional contractors, and other members of the public. Personal or political attacks against anyone will not be tolerated. Each speaker during public comment is required to direct their comments to the chair of the meeting, Corey Mindell. Speakers may not direct comments or questions to individual members, township professional contractors, or other members of the public. In order to avoid debates among speakers and to acknowledge the right of each person to speak, the board members will not comment or respond to a speaker either by verbal or nonverbal communication. Therefore, silence or non-response from the board should not be interpreted as disinterest or disagreement by the board. Public comment is not a debate or a question and answer session. The board members will listen and as appropriate will follow up with additional information at a later date. Corey will call to order any person who conducts themselves in a disorderly manner by speaking over others or otherwise disrupting the proceedings, or by speaking longer than the allotted time, or by otherwise failing to follow the protocol for public comment. If called to order, the speaker must discontinue speaking and be seated until the chair has determined whether the speaker has resumed compliance. If a person is ruled out of order, he or she shall not be permitted to speak further at the same meeting except upon special leave of the chair. Thank you in advance for your voluntary show of respect for the civil process of this meeting and for the community where we make our homes and raise our families.
Ann Rose?
Yeah, I'm not ready yet. If you go on to somebody else,
That's fine.
I am going to talk though.
Name and Matt.
Jean Natesel, 5638 Riverside Beach Drive. First off, we submitted a request to reconsider the sewer project for Coldwater Lake last meeting. Do you intend to respond? We haven't received anything yet.
We're not gonna rescind, we're not gonna stop.
You're not going to reconsider due to economic reasons or the financial hardships or anything?
No, we're waiting. We don't even know what the cost is of anything yet. We're starting working, once bids are done, then we'll go from there. But we're gonna
Okay.
continue on.
Okay. All right. In your township meeting minutes from February 5th of 2018, under old business, you stated the questionnaire was sent to lake property owners about adding the sewer system to the lake. Was this a written questionnaire that was sent to property owners?
When we sent it out at that time, it was sent out as an email to a bunch of people that, just to get an idea of what it was.
Okay, so
A mass email process.
that was a survey, an online survey, correct?
Yep.
Okay. Your March 5th meeting indicates that the survey of Coldwater Lake showed 71% of 150 in favor of the sewer. Where did that 150 number come from?
People that took the survey.
No, I reviewed the entire survey that was put out by Publicom,
I'll have to
93
get a
people.
better answer for you then.
93 people responded, not 150. So, also from public comment, 11 question survey was sent electronically to members of the Coldwater Lake Association with email addresses on file with the association secretary. And a link to the survey was promoted through the association's Facebook page. Did you notify the other property owners who were not affiliated with the Lake Association of the availability of that survey?
I don't have that answer for you right now.
Why was that survey conducted in March when our seasonal people were gone?
Get that
Okay,
answer.
all right, no answers, but that's okay. 71% of those 93 people that responded were in favor of the sewer. Do you realize that's only 16% of the total property owners that are being assessed with this sewer project? Did you really feel that that was a fair and adequate assessment of what people wanted? Okay. On March 22nd, your Facebook post went on to say that based on that majority, the township would currently process and develop the next steps for the plan. More information would be available in April after the meeting with bond council, municipal financial planners, surveyors, and engineers have taken place. But when you posted the responses to the Q&A for the September meeting of this year, Tiffany Pickler asked how much upfront money has already been spent for engineering and in what year was that? You responded the engineering costs have been accruing since 2017. Why were you paying money for engineering prior to even having done the survey to gauge the interest of the people?
That wasn't the money that was being spent in 2017.
That's what you responded to her question,
The engineering started then because Beale City was under enforcement.
but you didn't say it started for Beale City. She asked about Coldwater Lake. Okay. Looking at the USDA letter that was sent April 7th of 2020, it indicates the loan applied for will be $4,969,000 at a 2.375% interest rate. When you quoted us the estimate of $12,000 to $16,000 per property, did that include the interest rate?
Get that answer.
Okay, because that will make a considerable difference in the amount that we pay. Also, and I'm going way back here because we just moved into our house.
Next person, please.
My name is Jerry Cabell. My address is 1240 North Vandecar Road. And I am newly resident in the township, although I have been in Isabella County a good deal longer than that. I am given to understand that the assessment for the Coldwater Lake project was divided up amongst the property owners on every property pays the same cost basis. If I'm not correct, please stop me. I do question how fair that is, since the economic impact on the value of each property of the sewer project will be different. I understand that the initial basis for the sewer project was the cleaning up of the lake itself. So it seems to me that those who have lakefront properties would benefit more from that than those who do not have lakefront properties. And similarly, it would seem to me that those who have properties with higher assessed valuations would benefit more from that. And it seems unfair to charge those who are not in those two categories the same cost. Thank you.
Thank you.
Ron Charlie, 1331 North High Slope Street. On my street, we've got 10 homeowners, and the ones that I've talked to, not one of them in favor of it, even though we were forced to do the easement, or take legal action. And I'm just wondering now, this is my third time at a meeting here, and the people that I've heard, I haven't heard anybody in favor of it. And I'm just wondering why the board doesn't take that to heart and understand that this is the United States, constitutional United States.
Exactly.
And that we get, we should get a vote on it, and you should pay attention to it.
My name is Fred Hazen. I live on 5180 Parkview Drive in Waveman, Michigan. I have a quick question for you, and I think you should be able to answer it. You've been doing this, I believe, since 2017 or 2018 and having a meeting every month. I cannot believe on this board, the question hasn't come up. What are you going to do with the people who cannot afford it? What are you going to do with those people?
I don't have that answer.
So if the people can't afford it, you will go get a loan. You can't afford a loan. You can't afford $75 a month. You can't afford $400 a maintenance fee. You can't afford higher taxes. And we have sent letters to you telling this is, we can't do this. And you could just said, no, said, we're gonna move forward. Move forward and let people get out of their home? Is that your plan? Because there's people that cannot afford it. This is unaffordable. One more question. I came here 2 months ago and I asked you a question. I said, in China is a communist country and they take their rights away from people. I have a right as a U.S. citizen to make a choice to choose or not to choose. I own my property. Do I have a choice to hook up to that sewer system or not?
Yes.
No, I don't have a choice.
I'll get you that answer.
From I know, if I live 200 feet from it, I have to hook up. The septic system, what happens to my septic system?
It has to be abandoned.
If I say no, what happens?
It's
Go
up
to
to the,
jail.
If I say no, it's my choice. What happens?
it's up to the health department.
Basically, you're saying I don't have a choice. Where's my choice? So I'm asking you right now, all of you, how do you feel about taking my choice away?
Hallelujah.
410 people don't have a choice. How do you feel about it? Can you answer that? You don't have to wait to put it in the minutes. Can you answer that?
You'll get it answered.
I'm waiting. How do you feel?
Up to the plate.
It's a constitutional right. Maybe you should change the flag to a communist flag. Because you're not salute America. America has a choice.
Amen.
Answer it. How do you feel? You have no feeling? People are losing their home. They've lost their choice. If you can sit there and say, I don't have an answer, I think you have an answer.
Chris Natzel, 5638 Riverside Beach Drive. I want to expound on this gentleman's comments. There's a lot of people been working very, very hard, very diligently on gathering support on this opposing the sewer. I'd like to say I'm one of them, but due to some limited time I haven't been, but that's going to change. But in my communication with them, I understand we're very close to having 206 people who are willing to give written testimony, affidavit, or whatever legal mumble jumble term you want to use, that are against this. Out of 410, 206 is a majority. If we provided you proof with legal written signatures that they oppose this, do you still intend on moving forward with this project? Because I'll go back with this gentleman said. You're supposed to represent us.
Yep.
And once we give you that 206 signatures, I'm going to tell you something, Mr. Mendel. You better rescind this project, because the next thing that's going to happen is I'm going to be on board with Mr. Morgenstern, and we're going to be looking at some recalls.
Yes.
Ian Cabell, 5160 Parkview Drive. I was here last month. I went into some detail about probable costs, and I asked you if you would be able to cost justify that for me. This was my way of trying to contribute to the discussion, move the discussion forward. It's fairly obvious, I think, that I do not regard the sewer project as a particularly good idea, but let's try to work together. I wanted to give you the opportunity to make the best case you could. If there were things being said you disagreed with, I wanted to give you the opportunity to push back. If there were points we were not considering, I wanted to give you the opportunity to bring them forward. I wanted to give you the chance to be heard, and I wanted to give us, the people who disagree with you, a chance to listen to you fairly. What I got was a copy and pasted list of possible reasons a sewer system might be useful. Now, many of them would apply to our area, probably not all of them. There was no attempt made to explain why the benefits would justify the costs. A lot of them, it would be very difficult to point to those benefits as justifying those costs. So, I tried to give you an opportunity. You more or less did not take it. Now, if I was sitting in your position and I wanted to persuade someone like me that the sewer was needed, perhaps for the purposes of water quality in Coldwater Lake, now I would say, okay, there is an issue with water in the lake. This is how we know there's an issue with water in the lake. This is how we know which proportion of the issue with the water is coming from the Coldwater Township, Coldwater Lake septic systems. This is how we know that we need to go the whole hog solution, and we cannot address these problems with more limited point-oriented ways. And this is an important point, because for my best guess, less than half the cost of the sewer system, we could buy a new drain field for every property on the lake. Benefit to the water quality would justify the cost to the taxpayers. $1,700 a year was my guess. And if you wanted to say, okay, I don't think the $1,700 is right, this is what I think the cost would be, and this is why, very well. And at that point, we can sit down and say, okay, now this is what we've got. Is this worth moving forward with and pushing my friends and neighbors out of their homes? Or ideally, can we work out a way to move forward with this without pushing my friends and neighbors out of their homes? Am I out of time, or do I have?
Nope. Out of time, thank you.
Okay.
Nice job.
Good job.
Good job.
Patty?
Patricia Carrick, 5355 Beale City Road. I'm gonna go back to when Karen and I first came to the meetings. We had a handful at the time. I know Kim Levine and Julie Ann was there. We come forward and asked you forward if Coldwater Lake Association came to you, and you said yes, a handful did. You also stated that Charlie Wamsey was one that came to you. And as far as that goes, you opened up a can of worms for the Coldwater Lake Association people. It has nothing to do with us. We never received any of the, show of hands, how many people received a survey? Seriously, anybody in this room have a survey? Oh, 4, 3, 4, 5. Yep. 5 out of this crowd, people, received a survey. That should tell you something. That should tell you something. Another thing, since Mary Harder's here right now, you put her underneath the bus also. I wasn't gonna bring her up, but I see she's here. You said she's paying for it to be ran to her place, which is far beyond 200 feet from her home. Why is she even in this assessment to begin with? Why is she in this assessment to make us a part of this? I mean, that right there is what I was told way back before this, everybody started coming, that her property is the one that put us under. And I hope she knows what's going on right now. Also, you stated in several, things, several documents that you need all easements to be, signed in order for this to go forward. Is that true? It's not true now.
Right.
It's not true now.
I never said we needed all the easements.
Yes, you did. Yes, you did. Yes, you did, Corey. Yes,
And
you
why was
did.
legal action gonna be brought on us if we didn't sign that?
Yes. You did, Corey. And see, you guys need to get your poop in a group because you guys are getting caught in lies.
That's why we're gonna video.
Yes, actually in my video
Their
just went
minutes
down to
actually
somebody
say
else.
they have 90% of the needed easements.
Yes.
We're gonna get copies.
So, I mean, Corey, come on, you guys, you're, just like, I'm going back to Fred. My son served for this opportunity here. We're getting shit upon right now.
Yeah.
What are you guys doing up there? What are you guys doing? You got mill money, you got wood mill money. You should be paying back Beale City because they were mandatory. Coldwater Lake Association, they can pay for their own sewer system. They're the ones that can build their own. Leave us out of it. Thank you.
I'm ready.
Yeah.
So I'm gonna talk for my 3 minutes because, you're hot tying us for this 3 minutes and I'm gonna let you answer your questions on your 3 minutes. I'd like you to explain why some people's sewer that they want the sewer is going to trump other people's need for housing security and financial security. That's one of my questions. My next question is, I'm just gonna share that I have a whole thing on Ian's response you gave to Ian Cabal's question, and it was really offensive. Your attorneys must think we're morons. It's gonna keep the smell out of my backyard, so you get $35,000. It's gonna keep the mosquitoes down, please. The responses that you gave to him were embarrassing. And then you mentioned it'll reduce the nitrate in our water. Did you bring up what it's gonna do when it goes back through the sewer system and goes up into Mount Pleasant and it's gonna spread out? The chemicals that they're gonna use in that sewage plant, and then it gets broken down and goes out to different farms. Can you imagine? The farmers guys are gonna get that stuff and it's gonna have far more dangerous chemicals. I asked you about the burden of, I asked you the question about whether or not our elders and lower income families, along with places that have healthy running systems, is this considered a feasible move when we have a large amount of people, low income, elderly, and perfectly fine septics since our lake is fine? Another question. Corey, I spoke with you on the phone and we had a really civil conversation. You agreed to readdress this on the validity if I was to show you that landowners are not interested in it. That's the beginning. We have about 30 more local people to sign it, and that is not even the people that are out of town. We're gonna hit way more than the majority. So that's another question. Are you still willing to go through with it after you see that? Okay. Why are we expected to pay for Isabella County's park, the Coldwater Lake Park, when it's a county park? Why are these people in this assessment expected to pay for the county park? We're a township. That's another question. And why are you trying to mandate the crushing of our septics? Doesn't do you any good, except it keeps us protected when your system breaks down, and it will, because it's electrically run. So unless we can all afford a $5,000 to $6,000
Generator.
Thank you.
It'll be more than $6,000 for most of us. Most of our properties are gonna be more than $6,000.
Yeah, and that's, the reason you're paying for that is because you have to have it when our electricity
shit
shuts
runs
off, because it will.
downhill.
And then your septic system won't work for us. So, we've got that. We can't buy any cheap generator unless we plan on never leaving our houses. And how is a parcel designated, a large parcel designated farm, because they did have a tree farm on it, allowed in our septic,
Exactly.
our special assessment. How is that happening? Because that's not happening, that's not supposed to happen. How's that happening? There's all my questions, you've got them, I hope you're taping. I got through all my questions, first time in months.
Ralph Groves, 5467 Westfield City Road. Just got a few items. One, the information, was it shared with everybody that you were gonna use land mass for weighing the for or against? Was everybody informed of that?
No.
Wasn't even informed of anything.
That's the question. I don't think we knew it, and I think there have been probably more uproar at the time. And then also, you know, you said you wanted for people to voice their concerns, opposition on the same day that we had the information meeting. They had no time to digest what was told them, and really the information that's been provided has been terrible. And I guess the next one is, at what point are you people on this board gonna get serious about our concerns? You're moving forward, but at what time? What's it gonna take for you to pause this? How much opposition do you have to see before you're gonna take a breath and say, wait a minute, we need to look at this? Or are you just basically telling us we have to sue this board? Is that what you're telling us?
And
We have to
Lake
sue you
Association.
to take action.
Yep.
Those are all questions.
Jim?
1702 for Stroud. I got a couple comments and then I also have a question for you. So, were you aware when you had the Beale City meeting and you called that kind of your vote, even though we don't call it a vote, that nobody had numbers at that time? You understand what I'm saying? You didn't give anybody a number and say, hey, it's gonna cost this much. In fact, you don't even know today, 6 years later, what the numbers are. So how can you expect somebody to vote if they want something or not? I mean, that's crazy, don't you think? I mean, hey, yeah, you know, let's build this great thing, but hey, it's unlimited. Okay, and I'd like that to be on the next question, you know, when you answer my questions. Another thing is, I've been on the Coldwater Lake Association for, I think, 8 years. And so I've heard some things that I'm probably not supposed to talk about, but that's fine. One of the things was, 4 years ago, I brought up to the association, Mark, one of them, that my friend, who had been here 35 years, was selling her house because she was so upset about the sewer. She was probably 80 years old at the time. So while she was just frantic, she put her house up for sale. It broke her heart. I watched a lady, the strongest lady I ever know, cry. Because she knew in her heart that she couldn't afford the sewer the way they have it laid out, the taxes, and she was worried about it all, let's just be honest. So when I brought it up to the association that literally people are losing their house and selling their houses, I don't mean to put you on the spot, but Mark told me, I said, people are gonna, you know, sell their houses over this, and he says, there's more people that want in, so it don't matter, you know, and that's the truth. So nobody cares about you, nobody cares about you. You know what, there's another person that wants your house, and there's another person that wants your house, okay? But I care about my neighbors, I've been here my whole entire life. This sewer is not coming to my house, okay? I fight it because my dad asked me to before he passed away. We've got to do something. Can't you work with us, Corey? I've asked you this before. When I was at that fishing tournament and you called me, I begged you, let's come up with a solution that all of us can live with. You know, I asked him, can we leave our other septic there for 5 years or 7 years, you know, until we make sure that this one's gonna work? And you said no. I said, you know, I brought up like lots of other options that maybe would work for us. Can we get the $75 down because that seems a little excessive? No. You know, when we first started this, everybody, including the association, told us that this was turnkey. Everything, every single penny of it was gonna be on our taxes, so it's not gonna cost anything to anybody. We found that all was lies. It's gonna cost us $75 a month, you know, we got a hookup fee. So I mean, things have changed. Also, from when it first started, hasn't the economy went up 10%?
Pretty much.
It's right in the MCLs that if you have to give us another hearing if it goes up more than 10%. I'm pretty sure you know in your heart it's been up more than 10%. So at this point, you should have already gave us a new meeting all on your own out of the kindness of your heart. Also, in that meeting, that was supposed to be our first meeting. I have the proof. You said there was gonna be two meetings. We never got the second meeting. You told me about 3 months ago that the second meeting would be coming up, correct? We've never seen it, okay? I've been coming to these meetings for a lot of years. I came here when there was like 3 other people here, okay? Every month. I'm glad that all you guys are here. You know, actually it makes my fight seem like worthwhile. Well, some months, we didn't have as much to talk about because there wasn't, right? But when you guys all came in here, that was awesome. I appreciate it. I mean, it's been great watching other people fight it. But here's the deal. In 2000, they got mad at me because I was fighting this. So the only way they could get me back was to take away my homestead. So they thought, well, some stupid chick just bought a house, you know, would take away her homestead, prove her. So my taxes doubled. My payments went up about $500 a month. You know, it was crazy. They said I was gonna have to pay back 4 years of homestead. Okay, so I did. Okay, but I fought it. So it got reversed by the judge. Let her talk.
Time's up.
Let her talk.
So it got reversed. Okay, so then they said, okay, well, we owe her some money. So they literally sent me a check. Okay, well, what did they do? They waited 3 more years until they get mad at me again. And they say the check was too much money, and now I owe them $6,000. So when you are fighting this stuff, they're gonna do other stuff.
Shelley Short, 5056 Jordan Road. So I was just wondering, when we talk about the 410, is it 410 parcels or 410 landowners?
I believe it's parcels.
Why have you not placed opposing the sewer on the agenda so we can talk freely?
So we don't have limits on our 3 minutes.
So we don't have the 3-minute limits. So we could have just a candid conversation and people can discuss.
Like adults.
Like adults do.
Because this is our township.
There's supposed to be 2 hearings in the special assessment.
Why is there no sewer project web page updates for Coldwater Lake until 2023, when this project had been continuing to roll down? Also, I have children that live in Beale City that are on the end of the line and were forced to go into the sewer. Their hookup costs were $10,000 to hook in. And they are a very young family, young kids. Damn near lost their home over it.
Oh my God.
And my heart just goes out to people that are going to lose their homes over this, Corey. And
I don't care.
I guess on a personal note, I want to ask the board on a personal note, do any of you guys think of these things? Like, are they in the back of your mind? Do you think, geez, this is America, maybe we need to take a step back and look at this because these people are gonna lose their homes? I grew up on a farm in Isabella County. We came to Coldwater Lake back in the 70s prior to us being able to afford a little spot. In the 70s, my parents were able to get a spot. We had a trailer house on that spot. 10 years ago, I helped my dad. We designed and built my now lake house where I'm at. The thought, I'm glad he's not here to deal with this because it would be bad. It would be very bad. And the thought that I might have to do something different with my lake house because of the financial burden that you're placing on this, when I helped build that place from the ground up,
sickens me. And it sickens me that you guys just sit up there and, yep, we're going forward. Yep, this is, I don't know who signed what line on what, where, when. But you need to take a step back and think about this. You're supposed to be working for us, Corey. You were voted in by people.
And they can be voted out too.
That's it.
That's all.
Pat wants it, needs it, so.
Anybody else?
But none of them have to get it.
Pat?
Pat Schaefer, 2165 Miller Drive. I had asked you 2 or 3 months ago about a price. You told me you couldn't give us a price until all easements are secured. What did you say just a little while ago?
No, I said I couldn't give you a price until we had our bids finalized.
No, it was all easements secured.
Secured.
Remember, I wanted to build you a house and give you a price later? I remember it well, Corey.
I remember
Have you
too.
talked to the health department?
The health department tells us to talk to you.
Yeah, the health department says they have nothing to do with it, it's all the townships. Zoning says the same thing. Nobody wants it, Corey, other than you.
Eagle
And you're not
said,
in it.
Eagle said the same thing.
You got one guy here that don't show up half the time, he's the one that wants it.
And that should be conflict of interest,
Yeah.
big time.
That's all I got to say.
And why did the engineer write himself out of it?
Sir, back here?
Yeah, it's Randy Pulsifer, 1926 Midway Drive. As far as the benefit thing goes for Ian, the Supreme Court of Michigan defines it as an improvement must be increased the market value of the land. And that was Ed Hurd versus Bloomfield Township, 493. If you guys want to know what a benefit means. Let's see, there goes my page. In 1986, they made that same confirmation that you have to make sure that the value of the land improves for it to be a benefit. Not that BS that you put on there like you're trying to sell the property. That's just ridiculous. My land is capable, and a lot of these people's lands are capable and have been capable under a Michigan licensed septic system to take care of themselves. You're forcing yourself onto me. And this is the question I asked you last time. Why are you forcing yourself onto our land? It's not necessary.
For $1, it's not yours.
That's my last question.
Chrissy Pulsifer, 1926 Midway Drive. I want to know how you can lay your head down and sleep at night knowing that people are worried about you getting your home. How can you do that? It's corporate money, greed money, this, that, whoever, signed on the bottom line there. That's what it is. And I see right through it. And I think it's wrong. There you go.
Thank you. Dan?
Hi, Corey. I'm Diana. I'm at 1949 North Littlefield. Corey, I just have a couple quick questions. Why are we going through with this? What is the reason that you are standing firm no matter what we all say? Is there a piece of this that we're missing? Is it like, have we spent too much money on Beale City where you can't dig it out? You can dig yourself out? Is the grant money gone? I mean, why are you so headstrong on not working for us, understanding the burden it's putting on us, understanding we might lose our homes after working our whole life to get it? I just want to know why. What reason is it that you're standing firm that this is going through? Can you answer that to me now?
I'll get the answer for you.
That seems to be the perfect answer. But also, I kept myself awake many nights wondering whether I should request my easement documents back. And I just decided to pull up my big girl panties, and I requested it back and got that lovely letter from your guys' lawyer saying, you can do that, ask for it back. However, here's the threat again. You're still going to be responsible for this, 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 and this. And that scared the bejeebies out of me. And finally, I just said, you know what? I asked Heather, I want it back. I got it back. It's in my hands. I don't know if you're gonna penalize me now. I figured as much as this is going on and you can't give us even a dollar amount, I would like to know how many easement documents were returned. Let me guess. You'll get me an answer. Heather, you should know.
Go ahead.
2.
You had 2, out of how many was on the list?
10.
You had 10 on the list. How many are missing easements that you never got to begin with?
I don't know the answer to that. I'm the one that was taking the request for them back.
And did Beale City, everybody there hook up, or is anybody still not hooked up?
One not hooked up.
Are they going to court, are you taking them to court?
Yep. There will be enforcement in the future.
Enforcement,
Yeah.
exactly. Because they lost their choice to hook up, correct?
Yep.
Sleep well.
Yeah, exactly. Exactly. Oh.
My name is Lisa Jackson. We own 5272 West Beale City Road and 5274 West Beale City Road. This was a map I was given from Dan Andrus. The properties that are marked here are the ones who were opposed to the sewer. That's what they based all of their decision-making on, was this map basically saying just these little properties were against the sewer. But after going through and going door to door, woohoo, this is our map today. I have a copy for you all, and I have a copy of all of the signatures we've received. It's been a lot of work. Mike is over it. He's tired of it taking over my whole life. So I just want you to know that these two don't even compare. It's really sad. And I have 2 other little questions here. I'd like to know how much money is left from the funding for that grant or whatever it was that's left over for Coldwater Lake. And I'd also like to know if you could break down the $75 monthly payment, like how much goes to Mount Pleasant for the sewer part of it, how much goes into a fund for you to upgrade in the future, and then how much is in that kind of vague fund that's left over. I'd like to know the amounts in each fund. Thank you.
Thank you.
I'm just gonna go on the record, and Melissa, 5534 West Jordan Road. This is the 5th month in a row that I'm gonna bring up the fact that the easement that was mailed to us is wrong. We've told you 5 months in a row, and we still can't get a correct easement. So even if we wanted to sign, we can't sign, because they have our line going through our neighbor's yard, and I don't think our neighbor would appreciate 2 lines. Maybe we should have signed. Maybe that would have saved us some money.
Mike wouldn't like it.
I know, yeah. And I'm with her. I'd like to know what money that you're planning on spending, what you've spent so far on this. I think you're probably in over your head millions of dollars with the Coldwater Lake project so far, and that's probably why you're not backing down or not listening to anybody. I just read a good article that Beale City School District's getting a lot of the windmill money. That was amazing. Great for them, great for the school district, great for the students, teachers. Are you gonna try to get some windmill money for this project? If I move into the city, build a house, am I paying a 40-year assessment to get hooked up to a city sewer? Why are we having to pay all these costs? I can see paying a cost to upgrade to 220. Why are we paying for 40 years, $16,000 at a minimum for 40 years? Why citizens have to undergo that cost? It seems like that should be a township cost. You want us to have the sewer, you should pay for it.
Exactly.
Beale City, we've talked to people, we know you've got 2 lawsuits going against people that were involved in that. They have so many problems, and yet you're wanting to go ahead. The line's too small. You're going, 15 miles with this from some of the houses? How's that even feasible? And grinder, I've asked about this before. What's keeping a backup from going into our basement or our crawl spaces? Is there any guarantee that you're gonna get a quality grinder that's gonna have a shut off, that we won't have backup? Because we know the system's gonna fail. It's too far, it's too big, it's too much. It's not too big mile-wise, too small of a pipe. And like a gentleman brought up there, Coldwater Lake has no issues. Tell us why you want this project. We haven't heard any good reasons. The Coldwater Lake is not polluted. Why do we need new septics?
Because they need them.
Right.
You signed a contract.
That's it.
There has to be a reason.
Thank you.
Hungry Dow, again, associated with the 4-H camp. I just have some relationships that allow me to be privy to some information. I am a time of transfer licensed individual, so all of these people could go through a time of transfer assessment, have their drain fields and septics evaluated logistically through the health department for far less, and again, upgrade their own systems for a much better rate. There are opportunities where you can use dye packs in every drain field around that lake and find out exactly where your problem is, if that's what you're concerned about. But water testing doesn't show anything, so that's not what you're concerned about. I also am privy to knowing that your plumbing is contracted through Beale City. They are going to be positioning themselves, because they're called out weekly to fix problems that keep occurring via manholes, via lines, via whatever. It's a nightmare for everybody in that process. They predict this will be worse, and it will be. I do not live here, so other than losing a camp that's been around for 53 years, I don't have a dog in this fight. Other than the fact that you are railroading people. And I really don't think, I don't know if you all live on this and if you're gonna have this assessment on your taxes.
No,
No.
not a single one of them.
Just Pat Marchiondo.
He don't show
He's
up.
not here.
Well, but you should get yours
That
paid by
speaks volumes to me as an outsider looking in, that you don't care. How dare you?
Exactly.
To have that little old woman that's living on $900 a month Social Security, worried about her, where she's going and what she's going to do, who's paying their heating
Go
bills.
to the hospital. Because this.
You should truly be ashamed of yourselves.
Yes.
On top of that, the fact that you're not willing to listen. If it's the engineers and the health department that we have to talk to, I would promote a meeting with all of these people present so we can get answers that we need without having to wait till it's published online, without having someone say, you need to talk to so-and-so, or you need to talk to so-and-so. Let's get all the so-and-sos in the building and have a real conversation with real answers in real time. I don't know that we ever got the answers we needed for the camp to make a decision. You know, you're going to have a 40-acre camp that's going to sit there vacant.
Oh, no, Creek Art will buy it and make it an Airbnb.
Yeah. No, you can't, because we're already in a land conservancy that was,
It's their plan to turn it into a homeless shelter.
No, we can't make improvements to it because we're already in a thing. We are locked. At any rate, if those are the answers that you're going to give, then I challenge you to come up with a situation where we have everybody who's making these, able to answer these questions present and get some answers.
Question.
Yes.
I'd like to know how much of our money you guys have spent so far pursuing something that we don't want. And I've been around this lake 25 times in the last 2 weeks, house to house with this lovely lady right here. And most of the people, well, I don't know nothing about nothing. But the ones that do sign it, they're against it. Well, is it too late? Have you spent enough money of ours to go for this, that we can't backtrack and have a real vote that counts of all the people, not just certain people, the whole 410 people, a survey, the re-vote. That's all I got.
Good goal.
Mike, he called me in August and told me it was 1.67 million they'd already spent on cold water. I don't know why. Yeah, Corey, don't go there, come on.
I did not.
That's the truth. I don't go wrong on my numbers.
If you can see how red his face was right now.
Yeah.
It's misinformation.
No, Corey.
I told you so far to date with Beal City and everything from the day we started, that's how much was spent.
I didn't want that. The question that was supposed to be answered when you called
That's what I answered.
was, how much have you spent on the Coldwater Lake thing? You said, I'll get back with you. He called, didn't he? He said he'd get back with me. He got back with me, he called me, said 1.67 million. Now he's embarrassed. I don't know why.
I told you it was combined, it didn't have to separate.
So how much money has been spent on the Coldwater Lake Park? I'll ask the question brand new.
On the Coldwater Lake Park, that's your question?
Not the park. Park.
The park.
Get that
How
answer.
much money have you spent?
Get that answer for you.
Oh my God.
Well, somebody should know.
Sounds like you have those numbers in your head, sir.
He knows that 1.67 million is wrong.
Great.
Tiffany Pickler, 5519 West Jordan. So last month I asked a few questions as far as what needs to be done to get the bids. The answer was the township needs to secure all necessary easements, construction permits, outside approvals, and advertise the project for bids.
Booyah.
How many bids do you currently, or I'm sorry, how many easements do you currently have? What's the number of easements you have? What number of easements is remaining that you need to secure in order to send it to bid? What construction permits do you need and what dates do you have to have those by? What outside approvals do you need and what dates do you need to have those by? And then what dates do you plan on advertising for bid? Do you have a date locked in that this has to go to bid by this date? If it does go to bid, are you going to allow online bids like you did last time? How many easements, skip the line. I asked the question, how much rural development money will be lost if this project doesn't move forward? The answer was USDA has pledged a low interest loan in the amount of $4,969,000 over a 40-year term. And then I also asked, what date will we lose this money? And the date that you gave me said all of the money had to be dispersed within 5 years of April 7th, 2020, which makes that April 7th, 2025. So if I read that right, this all has to be done and up and running, and those loans have to be dispersed by 2025 in order to do that. With that, do you have to go with the lowest bidder for those loans? Does that USDA loan require you go with the lowest bidder? And then how many homeowners in Beal City have had damages due to any failures that have happened since that's been installed? What's the current monthly cost of contractors fixing problems within Beal City right now? And then last month, you stated that these two projects are totally, Beal City and Coldwater Lake, are totally unrelated, and the difficulties that have been encountered into Beal City will not, we definitely won't encounter those in Coldwater Lake. However, Coldwater Lake is tying right into Beal City, is my understanding of it. So how are we going to avoid any of those issues if there's already issues in Beal City and we're connecting? So what are you doing to ensure that that doesn't happen? Are we doing upgrades to Beal City too? And that's all my questions.
Thank you. Joy?
Julie Marquez, 5122 Parkview Drive. I've asked questions since 2018 and they haven't got answered. Mainly, I was told in 2018 that it's done, it's over, it's moving forward. I'm hearing the same thing and it's 2023. How should we be asking our questions? Because she clearly asked these questions last time and didn't get answers. And I asked questions last time and didn't get answers. We all asked some of the same questions for the last 2 months and we're not getting answers. So what is the best way to get the answers? And I agree with her. Get all the here? Why can't the people be here and opposing the sewer be put on the agenda so that we can have a discussion? Supposedly in 18, we had this grand meeting with all this information, and it wasn't. I was there. There were guesses. It might cost this much. It might cost that much. I was there and I received the letter, missed the part that said I had to oppose it by the end of a meeting, but I did that. I submitted a piece of paper that put me on a list that a 60-some acre parcel was going to wipe me out no matter what. Who doesn't even have a house on that land? So I agreed that parcel shouldn't be in the assessment. I've asked the question twice. I've never got the answer why that parcel's in the land. Why are they in the assessment if they don't really put it on the fucking property? Pardon my French. But seriously, I'm frustrated. I've known you my entire life. My entire life. I am going to lose my house. We are all going to lose our houses. A few of us might be able to afford this. Many of us can't. You have half of the numbers that you need saying we don't want it. So I think we equal more than the people that you say Charlie Wamsey. I was at that meeting with Patty when you said Charlie Wamsey and a couple of people from the Coldwater Lake Association expressed interest. I don't care about a stupid survey because it could be 4 people in the same household that took that survey. I've never been a member of that association. I think it's BS that it happened this way. I think that if you had that meeting and you told us there was going to be a second one, you told us you had to have all the easements. I'm never signing mine. Never. I'm never signing it. No. You did tell us these things. I'm glad someone is here recording this. And you're recording it, but you're not getting our questions right. So how do I ask my questions and submit them to you and have them answered correctly?
I can give you a good answer for that one. Right now, we record the meeting. We have to have the meeting dictated to get all the questions. We don't know if they're questions or statements. It's hard to tell by how things are said sometimes.
I requested that.
If you email, write the questions down, turn them in, we send them out, we'll get you the answers.
I want the answers I want the answers like they're supposedly being answered now by your lawyer. I want them posted so everyone can see them. I want her answers. I want her answers. But I haven't seen an answer. I have seen a lot of stepping around and not a lot of answers. You're asking me to sign an easement away from my property and to pay for something I don't even know what it's going to cost. I think if you were in this assessment, you would think that's absurd. But you forced a lot of people to sign it with threats. I'm going to lose my house. You have told me you're suing me. I am going to lose my house. I have 2 special needs kids that I adopted, and they are going to lose their house. Someone should care about that.
I do.
Well, every question, if it's preface with who, what, why, or when, I think it's a question. Don't know how to tell the difference between a question and a
Anybody else have anything?
You gotta earn those $3,000 wages you guys just got increased over here last time, huh?
Would you appreciate, or would it be acceptable to have assistance in the dictation transcription of the meeting to help you understand the questions as we do them? Because I would happily do that for you.
How about a sign language?
Does anybody else have anything to say?
I do.
That was a legitimate question.
Originally asked, who's forcing you to do this?
Yeah.
That was the original question I had, the first meeting, and I still this day do not have that answer. Who's forcing you? Tell me who's forcing you, because you know and you won't say.
We're not being forced.
Well, that's what you said earlier in the first meeting. So why is this being forced on to us?
If in the meeting, Coldwater Lake is not under enforcement. Beale City was under enforcement. But when we met with the DEQ, they made us responsible for Beale City, Coldwater Lake, and Wayland.
No, they did
Yes,
not.
they did.
No, they did not. I talked to
Okay.
Eagle. I talked to Eagle.
You can talk to Eagle all you want. I have the recorded meeting. I can.
Well then, yeah, I asked for recording. I asked for recordings. You guys said you did not record up until 2 months ago.
They made us. We had to have a system available to take Beale City,
No,
Water Lake, and Wade.
not Coldwater Lake, Julia Miller told
Is it
me
anytime or-
that
Go
they,
ahead, Patty.
No,
Speech
you-
time. I was trying to answer.
Steve Morgan,
Well-
5180 Parkview Drive. Okay. From what you just stated, you said it has to be available. That doesn't say we have to go along with it. So if the DEQ is stating that they want to implement Cowater Lake and Wademan, which is very poor, into the original project, but they're not mandating you, then why are we included into it? That does not make any sense. It makes no sense whatsoever. 2017, we've got plenty of information on your conversation with DEQ. We're working on it, we're looking at it proactively. What's proactively mean in Beale City, where it originally started? How many years prior to 2017 had you been notified by DEQ? How many years prior to 2017? You don't have records of that?
We never were notified until 2007.
Really, 2017 was the first time that you were notified.
Mhm.
So we go fast forward, we have to implement this sewer project in Beale City, who come in at poverty level, supposedly, so the $8 million that was spearheaded by Representative Howe all went to Beale City, $8 million of it.
There was not $8 million.
Well, how much was there?
There was $3 million.
Okay, $3 million, so you're saying it was only split in half between Beale City and Cowater Lake, where Cowater Lake wasn't even mandated to tie in? I just don't, the numbers aren't adding up.
right,
If Beale City's the only one that's mandated, then why are you pushing, you can make the system bigger, but Beale City pays for it. The problem started in Beale City. That's where the original problem started. I don't care how big you make the system in Beale City, so you can accommodate these people who may want it. But we don't want it. We don't need it. Shame on DEQ or Eagle if they're lying to us.
right.
Because we spent hours and hours and hours talking to DEQ, and they have stated to more than one of us, no, we aren't enforcing this. There is no problem that.
No, you're not.
Well, we need to see that documentation, and we knew who was by. You can't just say, oh, yes, they are saying this. I'm not discrediting what you're saying.
We need a meeting.
But we have to have proof. We can't have these threats telling us our lake's dirty when our lake isn't dirty. These people who bought these homes on Coeur Lake knew whether they had good septic fields, septic tanks or not. Shame on the health department for passing them. That's not my fault. I'm in 30 feet of sand. Mine works perfectly fine. But I want proof on who's forcing you into this, and why did you sign this contract? If you knew you didn't have Coeur Lake on board. What are these people in Wademan gonna do when they can't afford, they're worse off than Coeur Lake. What are we gonna do? This contract is signed.
Windmill money.
You're required to send so many cubic yards of waste to Mount Pleasant. And probably half of them people on Coeur Lake are all seasonal. So then when them cubic yards go down, the township's gonna be fine, correct? Why does it say state that in there then? And why are they requiring you to push so many cubic yards of waste there then?
6-inch pipe. Good.
This system is gonna be the worst system ever.
Did you
For
read
40
the
years,
contract you signed?
40 years,
Did too.
Who did?
The lawyers.
The lawyer.
What did you ask
So they
him?
need to be at these.
why aren't the lawyers here? Why isn't the engineer here?
I requested them to be here.
Why isn't, how did that special assessment area even get developed? Why did we go right by beaches and never include them? And that little subdivision here, why didn't we include all them people there too? Why did we skip the Lawrence property down on Jordan Road?
Because he's the engineer.
But then we,
Didn't skip the Lorenz property. Lorentz's house is in it.
No.
No.
Show him the
okay,
map.
that's fine, you can say that, that's fine, but the whole Lawrence property isn't.
No, the whole property wasn't. It was vacant land.
So why did we pass beaches and not include them?
I don't have that answer for you.
Why did we not include all them other people along that road?
Charlie wants me, he knows.
It just, I don't get the whole thing, we don't even need it.
He was stealing his phones and shit with the records on.
40 years? 40 assessment? How about make that whole township pay for it? Nottawa Township, the entire township.
Yeah, that way we could do a millage.
Have the entire Nottawa Township pay for this whole
Yeah, because
project.
doesn't every
Instead of
person in the
special
township
assessment
use the
here.
lake?
Thank you.
Get on our lake, get on our lake.
Anybody else?
Yeah.
Bill?
I wasn't gonna ask a question on here, just to see what the atmosphere is.
Loving and friendly.
It's getting better every month.
I'll admit it, I work for the state of Michigan, I'm a computer guy, I work in Lansing, nothing to do with this or anything, I do live on the lake. There's been a lot of federal money coming and going in the last 3 years due to the pandemic. Is there any federal money that the governor or the state can get to support a small village like this? I saw an email from the governor's office a couple of weeks ago. They're redoing a couple of roads over, Clubhouse Drive on Isabella Lake, and another one repaving it, the governor says, fix the damn roads.
We're not a village though. That's the difference. That's the difference.
But there's a lot of emails where the governor is bragging up small businesses and villages getting federal money. I don't know, but is there any federal money that could be had?
If it is, it goes to Metro
Especially at DEQ,
Detroit, I asked.
it's called Eagle now, I mean, it was DEQ. If they're mandating our lake and Wademan to be on it, if they're not, okay, I don't know, but would there be some federal money that the state could pick up to help out a small community like ours?
It already went to Metro Detroit, I was told.
There's a lot of.
That's where it all goes.
No, there's a lot of money going in the UP and all over the state.
Well, I did ask it, it was going to Metro Detroit,
For,
the sewer monies.
The sewer money?
I'm talking in general
Okay.
on money. There's a lot of money been handed out to the state by, it's coming from the federal government. And I'm not in on that, I'm
Right.
just a computer guy that supports computer systems for the state.
We know who to call then.
Right.
It should be asked.
Pardon?
It's a good question, because if it hasn't been asked, it certainly should be.
Yeah, I think the money that came to Beale City was from, one of the Hawks was a representative or what, and helped some of that money get routed to Beale City. I don't know much about it, but I'm just wondering, is there some federal money that the state could pick up for a small village like ours, or a township or whatever? I know we're not.
I know that Senator Houck is trying to get us more money, I
Yeah.
can tell you that.
But just an idea there, if it is going through, more money from outside would be a good thing.
That it, Bill?
Yep. Thanks.
Anybody else?
You said Eagle was mandating us or make it available. Can you tell me what division of Eagle told you that and who in that division told you that?
You say, I wanna know exactly in the meeting, I don't remember which one it was, but I'll get the report.
Okay, and I wanna know what division of Eagle is mandating it and what individual you talked to from that division so I can contact them.
Corey, he'll call you for that information tomorrow. We don't wanna wait a month.
Isn't there a 10-day minimum to get responses from government?
Again, if you guys would hand your questions in directly, we can get to you a lot quicker.
Okay. See
Here.
that flag up there? That represents we the people. We the people. You're not representing us. I have a quick question for all of you up there. If this goes through, will you guys all adopt one of these families that I talked to that cannot afford it and will lose their house? Will you guys adopt them, pay for their total expenses?
For the rest of their lives?
That's a rhetorical question, but that's just it. You guys don't need it, don't want it. A lot of people here don't need it, don't want it, and cannot afford it. So she gave you some wonderful solutions. I hope you take that to heart. I really do. Thank you.
Sir?
Yeah, I'm old and
Can you get your name?
James Short.
James Short.
I'm not sure where I wake at. 50.
56.
Yeah, like I said, I'm old and don't hear the way I used to, so when the people over there asked, what the deal is with people that are gonna lose their homes, and do you guys care, does the board care? I missed your answer, so I guess I'm asking for your answer, how you feel about people get.
I don't like it, but not much, I mean, I'm set in a position here right now that I cannot stop.
Why?
That's, everybody's asking why you can't stop.
Why?
And
File
you won't
bankruptcy.
say why you can't stop.
But you'd rather see all of us lose our homes and not, some people has kids that go to college that can't afford to go to college because they gotta pay for this.
Is there anybody else got public comment?
Yeah.
Oh, 1415
What was the
Littlefield
name?
Road. Audrey Whitbrook, 1415 Littlefield Road, before each camp. I guess, back to that question right there is, you say you can't stop. Can you tell us why you can't stop? I don't care if it's in 10 days, but we need a legitimate reason. What is forcing you forward? We don't care.
Who should we be talking to?
Is there the
About you?
contract, is it a money issue? We need a legitimate answer of why you can't stop.
Who's the actual
And
supervisor?
if there is anything that we possibly can do to make it stop, what is it that we have to go, I mean, they're getting signatures, this group has done a lot. What can make it move forward to make it stop? That's it.
Thank you.
There's a commissioners meeting tomorrow in town that is kind of their boss.
Anybody else, public comment?
What if you didn't have all the parcels? Like the 60-acre parcel, what if you didn't have that? That would stop it, right?
If there was no other public comment, treasurer's report.
General operating, 17,000.
You can't stop.
I will be posting my email address on the Opposing the Sewer website, Facebook page. If you email me your questions, I will put them in email format and send them to this board myself.
Thank you. Thank you. General operating, 17,777.
Sewer project still on.
Wasn't that fun?
Just so you know, there's more to talk about that's on the agenda. You didn't get any prettier.
No.
Yeah, you were me.
Sewer account, 992,558.51 cents. Sewer construction, 1,691.04. RRI, $81,934.81.
Your video.
Debt retirement, $322,602.02.
Well, I'm not with them.
Special 10, $134,471.22. And CD special 11, 550.
Can't we do bids, or it all be done hourly? I guess I don't understand how you could, I run my own company here, and I don't understand how you could just have an open policy and say, okay, just whatever takes you, okay, send us a bill. Why isn't it being bid?
They're the engineers on the project, and it's the payment they did for the work they did this month.
Like you said, for Kohler Lake.
Yep.
I guess I don't understand why there's not a requirement of having more than one
You guys
bid.
ever seen those out there with
an
to
engineer.
do this work.
They're the engineers on the project, and they've started from day one. This is the part that they put in right now for this.
Is that where you got the 1.67 thousand from, or million from?
For part of it.
So the engineer, was there any other bids that you could have went after, or is he the only person that you wanted to bid on this project?
The engineers that started out with us in the beginning, they're still the engineers today.
My question though is, was there applications for other engineers, or just Corey because he's from Beal, or not Corey, I'm sorry, that's you, Pete, because he's from Beal City? Was there any other bids?
No, we went to Pete and asked him to help us get through the enforcement through DEQ. Pete helped us get through those enforcements.
Okay.
And then we kept him on to go with the Beal City Sewer
So-
Project.
So you
So you
didn't
didn't
post
get
it?
bids?
So you didn't get other bids? You
No.
just
It's
went
just
with
an
your
open
friend?
book for him to.
As a governmental agency, aren't you supposed to get bids?
We don't
Someone's
have,
getting a kickback.
You can hire local people,
okay,
even
Now
though
he's
he's not an
building a new
engineer?
house.
what's that?
He's not an engineer.
He is.
Not
He is.
for
Thought he was a
sewers,
surveyor.
he's not.
Beal City was his first
This is
sewer.
his first sewer.
City was his first.
Okay. But, we'll get you the answer on that.
Thank you.
Well, it's nice that you went with a local guy.
Okay,
So we're paying
payment
for
of bills,
his
we had,
house.
Yep, that's a done.
Lots
all in
of
favor,
money.
say aye.
Aye.
All opposed. Fire department.
They have sold the old rescue truck and received the money, which was $17,500. The only other thing is, they're gonna be doing some upgrading on their, fire department insurance in December. Because it hasn't been looked at in a while, and they've added and upgraded vehicles. That was a short meeting.
Thank you. Old business. Beal City Corner Lake Sewer Project. Beal City, no real change. We did have one blind flange, a gasket. We didn't have it fixed, blew out. There was a loose blind flange. Fixed that. Water Lake, permit drawings are just about complete, send out permits. And we're continuing on easements.
Corey, can I ask another question? About the easements, you said, addressed us earlier and said that you never said that. I actually texted you the part on your answers from last month where you said that all the easements needed to be secured. So how many easements have to be secured to move forward?
We do not need easements to your property.
So then why did we have to sign?
Right, what was the point of getting them and threatening us?
Okay? No.
Yeah.
If you-
Yes.
If you'd let me talk,
Okay.
and I'll answer this question.
Go for
Okay.
it. Go for it. I'm ready.
The easement to your property just allows the township for the contractor to go in and set the tank on your property and put it next to, the closest it can to your septic tank. And wherever it fits, wherever you guys want to sign the easement for. It allows them to do that. Without the easement, they cannot go on your property. So that means all there is a lead off the main, and then it's the homeowner's responsibility to set their own tank, maintain their own tank, and hook it up out to the road.
Are they still willing to pay us that whole dollar to do it? Or can we negotiate?
Because the attorneys say that you should be paying us for
Fair
however much
market
property
value,
you're
fair
using.
market
and
value.
everything that
That's in the
costs
process of getting that amount taken care of. That's what, one of the things they're working on. So anyway, so we don't need an easement to your house. We don't need an easement to your
We
property.
didn't understand.
Kim, I'm talking to Jelaine right now, please. And this is why we don't have open conversation. It's because we have people that butt in and you can't have a civil conversation. It gets mass chaos. So I'm talking to Jelaine right now. And Jelaine, and I'm trying to give her an answer. So we do not need an easement actually to your property. You're on a public road.
What about the private roads?
The private road is the only thing we need easements down private roads. We don't need easements to the properties, just down the private roads.
So, in your easement assessment, it says that the main line is going down the opposite side of the road, right through somebody's fire pit. Anyways, so you're saying when I don't sign, you're still gonna bore underneath of the road onto my property?
No, I'm
and
not
put the
gonna
line
bore,
there?
I'm not putting anything on your property. I will not cross the road right-of-way property line. Or I mean, the contractor will not.
So how are you coming on my property then?
We're not. That's what the letter went out.
On a private road, is it 25 feet from the center line that the road has easement, or is it 33?
I don't know.
I don't know.
I don't know
I
if some of
think-
them platted roads are different in through there, so I don't have that
That's
answer.
what I know, some of them are 33 foot from the center line, the roadway has that easement. They
But
can
if
do
it's
anything,
But there's a couple of the roads that are private roads down
Right.
through there that
so I
we
don't
need.
know.
We need access down the road, we don't need access.
Right.
Those, so the easement down the roads is what we need,
The private road.
private roads. The public roads don't matter.
Right.
So why make us sign them? Why threaten us instead of taking us to court if we don't sign them? I don't understand that part.
We're not taking anybody personally to court for the easement to their home.
Then why did the letter say that?
When they asked me about it, I said, we don't want that, I'm not going through that. So I'm sorry if the letter come out and was misinterpreted. But that's the answer that I have for you, we do not. So what I'm saying is, so what they did is they sent the letters out explaining, if you do not give the easement, this is what's gonna be, you'll be responsible for everything from the road in.
Why were there people that were taken to court in Beale City, including the school and including the church? And I was told that by the engineer back in April. Didn't matter if we were nonprofit. He told me.
Okay, I'm gonna answer this question here right now for you to get you under control. Because it's misinformation, because the school, we never went to court with the school, we never went to court with the church, never went to court with anybody there.
Then why was I told that the very first time that I had contact?
I have no idea why, who told you what, or why you was
Pete
told that there
Lorenz.
was. Okay, well then.
The engineer.
I'd have to ask Pete what the question was that he answered.
The question was,
Oh my God.
where do we stand as a nonprofit? And he said, eventually, they will take you to court, just like they did Beale City and the church.
Who was it?
There was never.
Peter.
Well,
I promise this will be quick and painless. Now, did I understand correctly that if we had questions we don't get to today, we can shoot them to you in an email?
Yes.
And if so, when would you like that by?
The sooner the better, so the sooner I can get the questions to the engineers and the attorneys, the sooner I can get you the answers.
Okay,
Where
thank you.
do they get emailed to, Cory?
You can email them to my email, which is, Nottawa TWP super @gmail.com. Just makes it a lot simpler if I have a direct question to answer.
Well, my understanding is we've asked questions and we're not getting the answers.
Okay,
He doesn't understand it.
we have a hard time understanding sometimes when people talk, if it's an actual question or a statement. And if you look on there, they don't know. There's some stuff they didn't know if it was a question or a statement, So if they're written down as a question, I can get you answers a lot easier and get you the exact answer you're looking for. Or, excuse me, the answer. You may not be looking for the answer I give, but I'll give you the answer, I'll get you an answer.
Okay, you said gmail.com, right?
Correct.
Thank you.
And then all the emails, I believe, are all on the website?
Yes.
No,
No?
Email addresses are
no,
all on the
because I had to
township
email Heather a question I had, and she said she'd forward it to you, and then she sent me your email address. Yours was not on the website.
Oh, I'm sorry, I thought it was.
No.
Wademan Sewer Project. They're still working on Sherman Township. I have not, they haven't started anything with Nottawa Township yet. For Wademan. Park sign upgrades, I put the brick back there on the table, the brick we want to use for the sign. Anybody has any problems with that, let me know, but that's the brick we want to use. Video monitoring at the hall for the ballot box in the hall. What's that? So to put a camera, for CMS Internet to come and hook the camera up to our internet, put a camera underneath the audience in the front to watch the ballot box, and to put a camera in the back to watch the back parking lot. And the cameras will record all the activity.
Why do you need all that?
For the ballots, we need a ballot box, we need a video camera on it by law.
Okay.
Why haven't we had one before?
It was never required before. We didn't have a drop box sitting out here before. Being we're gonna have a drop box, it's gotta be video surveillance.
Because of 2020 election.
Wasn't there video surveillance at the Beale City, when we came in to vote for the Beale City school millage? Wasn't there already a video on there? Because somehow, somebody knew that I had borrowed your glasses. And I'd like to know how that happened.
There's no video inside or outside here.
Interesting, remember? Yeah, and I thought she had watched some video. How did she know I voted that day?
So for the 2 cameras, and the camera licensing, and the tech labor to install the cameras, it's $3,600, $2,960. For Block Electric to come in and wire, or do all the cable wiring for them, so they're gonna run from the from the router to the front, and the router up to the back, $690.
Did you take bids for that?
We called and got quotes for it.
Oh, did you?
Yes.
Because my son's like this, and I just wondered how he could have gotten to do that.
We called Block Electric to get a quote, and we called CMS Internet, because they're our internet holder, and they do the cameras, we called them for the cameras.
What's the backup for the camera?
It's got a DVR system that it records.
So what happens when you lost power or internet?
Then I would imagine, I don't have the exact answer, but if it's hardwired, I don't know how it can still record, but there's loss of power, the camera cannot operate. So I don't know if there's battery backup for them or not, I don't have that answer without looking at me.
If you're required to have video surveillance on it, you might wanna find out, because I have cameras, and when my internet or my power goes out, I lose them.
Stores for 30 days. I don't know. I'd have to ask that question. So we have to have the cameras installed by December 15th?
Yep. I'll go ahead and make a motion to accept both the CMS code and the block code.